Sean Astin.
I can honestly say not as happy as I am to be sitting with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, we're here at Alamo City Comic Con. How's it been for you so far?
Well, it's been surreal because I'm doing something that I have never done before, and it's the Kickstarter campaign, and it's right down to the wire, and I have all these volunteers helping, and so it's many things that were unimaginable, kind of right in the palm of your hands, but because we haven't planned for it, we're all running around like chickens with our heads cut off to try to get stuff done. So my mentality at the Alamo Comic Con has been a little less than fully, present.
Engaged.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I try, but
But, I mean,
the people are great. It's a huge hall.
it
It's
is.
a huge hall that they clearly.
You had a huge line.
Yeah, it's
It
very flattering. Very
Yes.
flattering. Yeah, it's their first convention, so it's hard to believe it's their first convention.
I wasn't aware it was
Yeah.
the first convention.
Yeah.
It's really surprising.
Apple. That's the name of the guy who puts on the show. His name is Apple or Apples. I think it's Apple. No, it's just Apple. Yeah. This is an Apple as well, but.
No, it's losing the screen. They didn't want to lose it. They want to see it.
Anyway, but he's done this, and a lot of guests and interesting people. And so yeah, the panels are always my favorite part because, meeting with people when you're signing, it's 200 15-second interactions.
Yes.
So it's like surfing people, but I think they like the panels better too because you really get to hear from the person that they want to hear from, and lots of laughter and fun, and yet to every person, every panel, I was making my pitch for my show.
I know you were like the mayor up there. It was actually fun. You were shaking hands. Yeah, vote for me.
I absolutely need your help, please. We're down to the wire. We don't have enough. If every single person,
Yeah,
every
like the
element
mayor, I'm
counts. So
telling you.
at whatever level you can, I
Yes.
really appreciate. Which is so funny because they're in the wow, I'm meeting this Samwise for the first time, and Samwise is coming out of par with a pitch about a political radio show. Yeah, so
I warmed them up a little bit.
that was good. That was good. Tomorrow we'll do more.
Yes, definitely. So tell me about the politics and how you got into that. I mean, because you're an actor, you're a director, producer, voiceover. I mean, and I
Go on, I'm sure there's more. That's
Yes,
only
there
19
is.
hyphens.
I know. I mean, how do you balance all of that, and how did it suddenly become this? Where did this come from?
I've answered the question a lot of different ways, but one way I think that's very true that I haven't really talked about before is that I just kind of plug away at each thing, and then whatever seems to work first is the one that gets my focus and attention because, as you said, all those different things I love to do and I try and do. And, I'm in the Director's Guild and directed a short film that was nominated for an Oscar, but can't quite seem to figure out how to raise the money for a feature. Didn't want to do that with Kickstarter, just tried hard. So, and that was my passion growing up. That's what I wanted to be more than anything was filming. But that's going to be the one of those dollars.
What do we do? Oh, okay.
We're in a convention hall, so just work with us a little bit.
We didn't do it. I swear.
So, wouldn't it be great if I went to firefighter?
It totally was fine.
Just go carry a baby.
I didn't do it.
It's fine, everything's fine.
I didn't break this one.
So, but that's the thing, I kind of, I don't manage it well at all. My different passions and things. My mother tried hard to tell me you can't have everything. You can't do everything. I'm 42 now, and I'm starting to understand what she meant,
But you certainly tried, and you've had success in a lot of what you've done.
And
And I like the fact that it seems that you're not only just so passionate about it, but you are so motivated to prove her wrong. What do you mean I can't have healthcare?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, my wife and 3 children are thrilled about that reality.
That's how the balance is all
I was like,
about.
honey, I just offered a $500 reward to have a cup of coffee. She goes, I'll buy it too. So, oh yeah. But people say that, chance favors the prepared. And whatever, success is 90% perspiration and 1% inspiration. And there's all those great kind of things. And it's my job to prove all of them true. That the game, the Kickstarter game, as it's set up, has its own set of rules. And And so I think they're great. I like the game, I like the rules, and so I started to play the game of the rules for my passion, this radio show. But I want to win. I want to win the game. I don't want to get to the end of it and think, oh, you know what, that was a really good experience. I want to leave it all out on the field. You know, I'm rooting for Pete's sake. You know what I mean? And I might have not been as zealous. I'm pretty zealous, but I might not have been as zealous if it wasn't for the help of all these people with all their unique skills, just arriving to. I you know, I don't know about religion or anything, but I have a couple of prayers that I use. And one is let me be an instrument of your will. It's one that is great, and it's not it's not about being. It's funny because every single thing has my picture on it. It's every. I'm sitting at the table signing my picture and everything, and so I get into that space where that's where I kind of validate that as a reality. But as soon as I walk in the front door and close the door, it's no longer reality. And when I find people who are willing to just give of themselves on behalf of an idea I had, it's not about me. It can't be. It's got to be about them. It's got to be about the audience. I mean, of course it's about me, but it's to have the the chutzpah, to have the stones, to have the cojones to like just ask people to start doing stuff and instruct them and this kind of thing. When it's you're either just kind of a jerk, power monger, or there's probably a couple of intermediate steps, or you're someone who realizes that like things are coming to you for a reason. That really it's in service of a more important idea. And that's I reinforce that to myself a lot.
Which leads me to run third.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot like that.
Yeah.
How did that come about? I know you've been a marathoner or long distance runner for about 25 years.
Not a marathoner for 25 years.
Not a marathoner.
Well, I ran my first marathon when I was 28. Ooh, 38. Okay, so that's like 50. I've been a long distance runner. I mean, I was probably 12 or 13, 14 when I ran my first 10K.
Really?
Yeah. My buddy across the street, Chris, pointed out his stepdad, Tom Faulkner. He asked Chris, hey, do you want to go to a 10K with me? Chris was really tall. Most of them runs on the basketball court. He's not going to go over. And he asked me, do you want to come? And I wrote up, asked me if I wanted to do something. And I liked running. I think he must have seen me run somewhere. But I got my shoes on and went with him. And it was at the LA Coliseum. So you finish, you wrap around the Coliseum, and you go into the Coliseum through the kind of famed tunnel, and then you run around. The Olympics in '84 I had watched from the year before, whatever, 2 years before. And you run around the thing, the stadium with people cheering across the finish line. People are, handing you a slice of oranges, and they put a medal around your neck. And I was like, what is wrong with this? Nothing. I can totally. And then I ran cross country in high school, which was, I was a JV baseball player. I was a short relief pitcher. I got called up for one inning of varsity playoffs. I guess that didn't really, for some reason, qualify me for a letterman's jacket. But I was good at that, but I wasn't good enough really to make the varsity team. So I wanted a letterman's jacket, and I thought, ooh, I can do cross country, and they have the cool little sneaker with the wings on it, that you get a badge, and that meant something. The tokens mean something. I really care about them. I care about the medals after the races. I care about, like a talisman. I mean, I look at my medals. I keep them. I don't have them hung up. I don't have them like displayed on a wall. I have a stick that I got out of the yard. Actually, my daughter got out of the yard. It's got a split down the middle. It's about that. Like that. And I hang them in a little crook in the split, so it looks like a flag with like a battle flag with the streamers on it. Each one representing another 4 hours of your life or whatever period of your life. So, but interestingly, I think I was pretty selfish, and the LA Marathon, which I love, offered this challenge. Run for something. And I felt kind of ashamed by it because running is very selfish to me. When I'm at mile 14, I don't want to be responsible for anyone else. It's me. And when I get to the end, I want the credit for having run that. Not God, not somebody who's got a charity. I want the credit. Well, then I turn 40 and I do this thing, and it's like, okay, I have a pretty short-sighted, kind of subtle intention about it. So I started thinking, well, what would I run for? And, you know, my mother is a famous bipolar sufferer. My wife's dad committed suicide. My brothers were drug addicts, some drugs. You could start, I can go on. I mean, it's just like an American drama because I can talk for a long time about that. But I decided that, you know, all families were touched by different diseases, heart disease. But I didn't want my identity to be locked in with any one thing. I guess no one thing had touched me hard enough. Like literacy was the thing that I loved. I loved advocating for literacy. Got a scholarship program set up. So I'm the board of the foundation, literacy foundation. And I think maybe some of the athletes make millions and millions of dollars, and they've got their cause, and that's their cause, and they can make a huge difference actually with that. They can motivate a lot of money towards that cause. I didn't think I could do that. You know, I think I'm famous in a lot of quarters, and well known, and I think people are excited to meet me the most in these convention settings. But I'm also, you know, it's not that, I mean, in LA, not that big a deal. You know, so I shouldn't think that I could move the needle on an autism if I was the guy for autism. So I just thought, okay, well, what can I do for everybody? And I worked through this idea, and I realized, like, it's selfish for me. I run first for myself. Then I thought if I was going to run for anybody, it should be my wife and children. So I run second for my wife and children. Obviously, I run first when I get jump in front of a bus for my wife and children. But this was my idea when it came to running. And then I thought I run third for you. And it just came to me. I was driving in the car one morning, thinking about running a marathon. Checking out the route or something. And I realized it's actually a Twitter thing. It started as a Twitter thing.
Really?
Yeah, because I had when I watched the Arab Spring, you know, Egypt, Tahrir Square, 25,000 kids went out there, basically overthrew a very long-standing leader in the country, and they did it with Twitter. I started thinking, this is something we're focusing on. And I know Edward James Olmos and Robert Kennedy Jr. Were trying to get Twitter followers for their Waterkeeper Alliance, which is an organization that tries to help police, you know, enforce laws or structure laws so that the waterways are protected, you know, generally. And my mom and I have been big Edward James Olmos fans for our whole life, and she's worked with them, and I just love him. And so he tweeted me, "Hey, Sean, will you help us do this?" And it was kind of like Todd asked me to go run a 10K with him. I was like, okay. And then I realized that, and I probably had 3,000 followers at that point, 20 followers. And I just became a zealot for that cause for about 3 weeks, right during Christmas. And my wife was like, why are you doing that? I'm like, I just have to do this, I have to do this. They hate it. My kids hate Twitter. They hate it. They hate it. And they don't like to hate anything, but they hate it because to them, it represents dad like this all the time. So, but
That's kind of the opposite of what the typical teenager, kid, father scenario is. It's usually dad.
That's my sneaky way of getting them not to do it is to do it so much and so hard.
It's usually the other way around. The father or the parent is yelling at the kid, put that phone down. It's a complete opposite.
Well, we got to 20,000 their goal, and I thought, And then I had said, then I said I want to get my followers up to 26,200 for 26.2 miles. I know it's like 8,000 or something. So we, in connection with this Run Third idea, it was hashtag RUN3RD. And so I just started promoting that idea. And I was answering every time people would say, well, what is it? What is it? I don't know what it is. And so I explained in 140 characters everything I just took 5 minutes to explain to you. And so I sat down and I wrote a mission statement. It took about 6 minutes to write the mission statement. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. Right? I mean, you know, yeah. So that's one of those things where you're like an instrument. You know, that's not me. That's something else is doing. So people started. It took off.
It did.
Yeah, I mean the LA Marathon saw it. KK Link's person saw it. Like, can we do
Facebook group?
the group? Yes, that came a little bit later, but basically it's set up like that. The and then hats made. And then Linda, who is sort of my fan, but she's more than a fan now. She's a friend, and she works, like on this campaign. She's and really, Run Third would not exist in the way that it does if it wasn't for her. Because my focus goes to working on a movie that I'm doing or something, and I think that I had established beachhead with the idea for people. And basically, the idea is very simple for your audience. It's that you're creating an opportunity for people to think about someone other than themselves. So you sort of say, I run third for, you find a loved one, a cause you believe in, some idea, or give her some third cup of coffee in the morning, whatever it is.
People that are cheering you on, getting you to the finish line. You can really be in.
Anybody, there's been a lot of people who have, in recent months, have tweeted about their posthumous loved ones, their young children who passed away. And so please run third for my son, And so when I wear Run Third on my hat, or I actually really like taking a Sharpie and just writing it on my leg in Sharpie, you're running on behalf of all those people who made those dedications and all the people and causes that they made dedications for. So it really kind of set up. But then Linda created a blog for it. And she started and the idea was, the idea was that we would, somebody would go to an event, or I'd go to an event, somebody would go to an event, a running event, take pictures, send it, and they give a little explanation, like, oh, I went to the, Los Alamitos 5K, and here's some pictures of us, and we Run Third, and they take pictures with Run Third on it. So she just started collecting and kind of provoking people, hey, remember to take these pictures, or what, and it's so kind of life its own. You see these, school classes that come out, and the whole class is there, and they've got Run Third signs, and you just kind of think, man, it was a brain fart, and these people, it's really gone into their hearts, they really like it. And so when I put my attention on somewhere else, Linda kept it going. Then I thought, it really can't be about me. It's like I had my wife take a picture of me in silhouette running, because it sort of needed an icon, a symbol or something, so the symbol was me running. And then I just started getting sick of the idea of me doing it, and I thought, we need team captains. So we're all running, there's like probably 27 or so, 28. No, you're not a team. You should be Run Third team. You know what it takes to be a Run Third? I think you tweet out on your team, Run Third team captain, and then Linda goes, okay. But the point is, it's just a way to shape.
You don't have 40 bajillion of those? Why?
Well, because people they don't go to that section of the blog and read like what does it take, but it's really a lot of these things that I do are a litmus test for other people. People put things on me, I put right back on them. So that's pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of that. And now it's a thing. Now I've done. I was on the cover of Runner's World.
What? I didn't know this.
Yeah. Well, you wouldn't think so to look at the kid. Yeah. But it's because people really responded to that feeling. And I must say, it was that prompt to me that got me thinking about it. So you got to figure if you offer somebody else an opportunity where they haven't talented to me, you're prompting them to think about it. And it's funny, you sort of go to someone, I'm explaining it to somebody, so who would you offer a dedication to? Who would you make a Run Third dedication to? They go, oh, everyone. They make that same, they lean back, their head goes up, their mouth goes up, and they go, oh, I guess, and then they say, my grandfather died, my hero is this person, or whatever. And so you do that for people, you do that for each other. It's a great thing to be reminded that it's not about us.
So, your talk show, your radio show.
Yes. What do you know about it?
I know that you are advocating a voice for the people. Add your voice. It's for the people. I know I saw you wearing that.
You get one of these. Just not this one because I have to wear it to do it, but you will get one. I
loved hearing you talk about it with everybody that was coming up. Just come listen. You don't have to be one or the other.
You were only there for a few minutes. I was hours out there crying. I couldn't breathe. I had to remind myself, like, you're talking too much. You must breathe in. You must take in oxygen. So I would do that. So I would ask a question, and a lot of the times you'd be like, oh, God, I don't have the energy to explain this again. But if I don't, then I might miss the opportunity to have that person back for $1. And then, I don't need that person's dollar. But the show does. The show can't survive if other people don't like it. So either, and you earn credibility with people over that show. And I've done 36 episodes, and 14, 15,000 people, I think, are, have very credibility with them. They like what it is that I'm doing. They come to the show again and again. But with the public, how do you extend the reach of the show? How do you try and convince somebody in a heartbeat, check this out. There's so many other things competing for people's attention.
Yeah.
So the premise of the show is civil discourse, which is, well, you say it. You heard me talk.
Oh gosh, I heard it a lot. It's, what do you want me to say?
I want you to, no, not a tagline. I want you to internalize this idea that it's important in this country and every country in the world, but it's important now for people to have a forum, a place where they can go, to talk about politics, to talk about government, to express themselves, to learn about things without feeling the pressure that they're being judged or without sort of being attacked by someone else. Your radical liberals or your right-wing Tea Party people or whatever kind of labels you want to put out there, who when they get without the name, that's the whole idea. No name calling, no finger pointing. You just know that this girl, her blood is boiling listening to this guy speak. But it's the premise of the show to let him finish. And interestingly, if you let him finish, you let him get his full thought out, his full thing, and you ask him a question or two just to clarify certain things, which may come from your own kind of doubting what he's saying or disagree with, but are really not designed to stop what he's saying, but to get out the best version of whatever it is that he has to say. Once he's done that guy's a little more likely to listen to what she has to say. Because he kind of feels like, well, it's only fair that they listen to me. And, it would be rude to be like, oh, I gotta go. Because then it's almost like whoever holds that idea that was just espoused, if they don't have the courtesy to listen to it, maybe their idea, it undermines the idea. So what you have is a space where people are patient, they listen, and they communicate respectfully. That's civil discourse. It says, okay, so it's Vox Populi, voice of the people. That's kind of pompous. It's Latin, Vox, voice, Populi, it's people. But I put Vox Populi, voice of the occasionally interested people. So sort of like...
It's an interesting angle because there's a lot of people that they almost give up on trying because there's so much information skewed one way or the other, or then they try to ask questions and, like you said, they get it down. And I like the fact that you're bringing two ends.
It's all kinds. I mean, it's people who hate politics because in their house people fight about it. There's people who just don't want to be bothered. There's people who feel like, you know what, it doesn't matter what I think, nobody's going to listen to me anyway, my vote doesn't count, or it's an inconvenient thing to like, wait, how do I have to vote? I got to get my thing from the DMV, or wait, how do I do the voter reg thing? Forget it, I don't care. Which is why I think it would be great if the government made it really simple and easy for everyone to be involved, on the one hand. On the other hand, you should want to work at it. You might not necessarily want people electing people that they don't really pay attention to the issues all year. You know what I mean? So this is for occasionally interested people. I got movies and stuff. I'm occasionally interested. I also happen to be a political junkie, but so that's it. I created that show. That idea came to me. I was able to. I was promoting Run Third, and I said to my publicist, I was like, fine. I was like, I really want to get 26,200 followers. And then I found out you can buy followers. I'm like, oh, I'm legit. No, legit followers. You go to a company, they're like, well, we'll promote your name and we'll get on certain search engine lights and stuff. You're like, okay.
Did you know you can buy followers on eBay?
Yeah.
Ridiculous?
I mean, yeah, what a great business model. I never thought of that.
Yeah. I
get 50 of my friends and go, hey, we all agree to follow somebody if we get $1,000 and you cut you all in for it. That's a great business deal. But it doesn't matter. The authenticity is kind of a hallmark that we should all live by. And so, but we happen to be at this one place, the Toad Hop Network, that had 17 shows at it, mostly comedy shows, a couple of movie shows, a couple of music shows, and so we went there to promote Run Third, and I walked in to the Lovitz Theater at the City Walk, and I was like, I want to do a show. So I went to the head of the thing. I said, I want to do a political show. He said, go ahead and do a political show. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, you can do whatever you want. So we designed the banner. His team designed the banner. Actually, I took a picture of myself and then sent it to him. And this was like almost 2 years ago, I think. And I was like, great, show up. show up on, we were gonna do, Thursdays 12 to 2. So I just remember that first day, I got my mom, who's famous, to record a message for me. I got a congressman that I knew, very influential congressman, to call in and do a thing there. I got Noam Chomsky, the socialist. I think he calls himself a socialist. And Michael Medved, a very conservative talk radio show host. And that was my first episode. And I remember sitting down, and actually somebody, like on my way into the studio, somebody tweeted, "You should use Vox Populi by, what's it called, I can't remember the group, but it's a group." And I listened, I was like, great, that became that's the theme song of the show. So, and it's great, it's perfect. And now every time you hear that, you're like, oh, it's the beginning of Vox Populi. So that was it, and there were no rules. There was no precedent, really. I mean, for this kind of thing, I don't know.
How many listeners now?
Well, now we have, the thing was at that point, I think I had something like 30,000 followers, Twitter followers. And the only promos for the show would be tweeting out to my followers, hey, I'm doing this show. With my thumbs, that's it. It's not a very big promotion show. You should have more than just that. And but I did it. And so we built up to about between 12 and 15,000 people who tune in, listen to, or download a political radio show for 2 hours, which I think that number is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
It really is.
So, and then the Syria episode we did when President Obama was asking for Congress to vote to support his limited strike plan into Syria. We had a special episode, and it was like 24,000 people. So that's it. I mean, what I really want now, the Kickstarter, I couldn't do it anymore by myself. It was too hard doing all the research, finding guests, finagling,
You need help.
I need help. I need hints. It's and minds and experience, So I just thought, so we went on extended hiatus, and upgrade.
Upgrade.
Call it upgrade.
Exactly.
So I basically when the government shut down, I was contemplating a Twitter campaign to raise money for the show. I had been for a while, and then
Which we're doing. Tomorrow.
What?
The Twitter party.
The Twitter party.
Yes.
Twitter party. When are you gonna put this out tonight?
I can try.
Well, whatever. I don't know. It's
I can
your
try.
show, man. So the idea was, I got a Twitter account. I sort of did all the things you need to do, and this crowdsourcing. I don't know if your audience knows what crowdsourcing is, but basically they changed the law. They changed the securities law. It used to be, if you wanted to raise money for certain kinds of projects above a dogma, you could only go to qualified investors. Qualified investor, somebody who has a net worth of over $1 million. So it's a great way to protect grandma and her estate from being taken advantage of by a wily filmmaker.
Yeah, true.
But it's an impediment, a serious impediment to people who are trying to raise money, and like the community of people who likely give to you can afford it, but don't have that kind of scratch. So somehow people advocated for change, and there was I can't remember the exact thing within the law that was done, but something was changed where 2 years ago you could take your case to the public. It used to be if you wanted to ask for money from the public, you had to make an initial public offering, an IPO, and that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever to bring your company to the public, to sit on the stock exchange and get people to invest dollars and have your value traded and everything. Now you just go right to the public and say, hey, I'm a band member and I want to make a CD. I'm an artist and I can't afford the materials to do this great thing. I'm a writer, whatever you are. They can show right to the public now, and they're not in trouble with the government for doing that. And the companies like Kickstarter have shown up and others that create a structure to make it easy for you. It's 2 clicks. You want to invest in my show? You go to startthevox.com, hit the green button, choose your backing award, and give them your Amazon account. If you don't have an Amazon account, you put in your email address and your name and your credit card. So then you have an Amazon account. So it's great that they do this. So now there's this new marketplace of ideas, of creativity, of talent, and thousands of people are on Kickstarter asking their friends and family to back them, and then trying to go to a broader audience and get them to be noticed and support themselves. so I was thinking about that. I was actively kind of working towards it, but just kind of it was in the back of my mind, you know. I was like at night fiddling around it, and then the government shut down. When the government shut down, I pushed the launch button for my campaign, and because I just thought this is so two things. It's a perfect storm. People, the whole country is paying attention to this right now. When the whole country doesn't really during presidential election, the country pays attention. Most of the time, the whole country isn't at the same time focused on something, and it's right on the spine of what I'm all about. The leaders in Congress couldn't figure out a way to communicate with each other. So instead of finding the natural course of lawmaking, give and take, and a way to do it, they started going towards, it was like, let me move first base out a little bit. No, first base is first base. The debt ceiling is the debt ceiling. These continuing resolutions, we pay our bills on time. We don't wait to do that. And so that's it. And my show is about modeling a different way of being that has to do with respect. And there's a time to stand on the barricades and scream for your issue, your rights. That's not what this show's about. This show isn't about persuading people. It's about expression. Like, you have an idea, I can ask you a question, what do you think about this? You share your idea, and I'll listen to it and hear it and feel through it. Maybe ask you a question, I don't understand what you're saying. And a lot of times people say, well, that's not what I meant, or that's there may be truth in that, but this is why I think what I think. And so now you've heard that person's opinion. And the show, virulently seeks out opposing viewpoints. So, because I think that's when you learn. I think you learn when you either hear somebody you really agree with talking, and you think, that's exactly how I feel. That person put a button on my thoughts. Or you hear somebody that you disagree with, and you listen to them and you go, okay, I understand. That's why I disagree with that person. Or, oh, you know what? Seeing it from their perspective a little bit, it kind of complicates my opinion now. Or you've got these people who aren't really that interested in politics, but for whatever reason they're willing to tune into the show. They tune into the show and they end up sort of going like, okay, I don't know how I feel about that, but I know more now than I did before. So that's the show in a nutshell. And the goal was $30,000 because that's what I thought I could get out of the public and out of my family and friends.
And today we did what?
We're at 44,000 now.
Over
44,000. But now 30,000 isn't enough. Now we need 60,000.
Yes.
Because if something happened, 30,000 was for me to be able to hire a producer and maybe a part-time social media expert who could help keep the show alive across all the different social media platforms and just be aware of the show and help log the show and archiving information and stuff. And then a researcher, somebody who can help us do research, and then booking is the other thing. So 1 or 2 or 3 people are going to help. Okay, we're going to put a team together with that 30,000, and we'll put together the best team we can.
60,000. Yeah.
What I learned going through, what just sort of crystallized, was an app for the show is what's possible. Actually, it was like, oh, what do you want your stretch goals to be? You've reached your goal. What might you want another goal to be? And I thought, well, if I had 50,000, I could hire a full-time producer, somebody who's competitive in the news, the news radio business. I could snake somebody great. And now the show has the extra added credibility. He's got the relationship, or she's got the relationships to be able to activate, get the guests on the show that everyone really wants to hear from. And then the show becomes newsworthy and really relevant, timely. That's when I'll be very excited when that moment happens, because I don't think it's too far away. It might happen in the second season, but I'll tell you what. So that was 50,000, and then I thought, what could be a $60,000 goal? And I went, oh my gosh, an app. Everybody asks me, how can I find the show? And it's like a minute-long answer. I can't sort of go, oh, go here. It's like, oh, there's a thing called the Toad Hop Network. It's an online thing, and you go to the network, and they have shows, and they archive it. It's like, it's hard to describe it. Even if I'm really excited and they really want to learn it, it's still a stretch. So, so the idea of having an app, where somebody says, how do I find your show? Well, download the app. And then on the app, you can stream the show live. You can watch it or listen to it or both live, push a button and call in, be a caller, in real time. Or you can type your questions or your comments and send those in, and we'll have our little monitor there. We'll be monitoring the questions of people that are going. And then you can look up old shows. All the shows will be archived through it, and you can look up shows by previous guest, by topic, or subject matter, or whatever, heading, date. And there's a couple other things I can't remember at the moment, other features where you're like, how could you not have that? And you just know that if we did that, if I could tweet out to my 89,000 people and then follow Facebook out, the app, the link to download the app, the name of the app, boy, the show, the reach of the show would go fast and far.
Yeah.
It really would. The people say, was this all you want to do? It's like the reach, my reach, and this show's reach are sky's the limit because it's such a good idea. And it's something that people, everyone says we need. But it's like, okay, well then, donate to PBS, donate to NPR when they do their drives. You know, you can't just say that you should have a place where there's, calm, reason, thoughtful, logical, stuff going on, and then not, because they can't survive on their own. Fox News and MSNBC, they find a way to get you fired up, riled up, either total agreement or total agreement that you want to go and fight the other side, or total disagreement that they want to fight you, and then they cut to commercial. So there are some very valuable stuff on both of those stations. I mean, I watch them both all the time, but if we really believe that there should be a place where it's a forum for people, normal people, people who aren't experts in a certain area, but who are smart and have an opinion or an instinct about things, then you gotta back it. So anyhow, we should have a way for the, we don't have the app. It takes a long time to build the app. But I want the app. I came up with a check. The show needs an app. The show needs an app. The show needs an app. And all of a sudden, my sense of purpose was doubled down hard. Because I started realizing, wait a minute, this actually would be really, really important and really good and exciting. It would make the experience of everyone listening more interesting. It just would synthesize everything. So, yeah, and a lot of people, yourself and Nicole and a lot of the people we know, were inspired by that. And now I was shocked, this Reddit thing we just did, the comments from people about how I really think the show, I'm in England, I think the show would be a great app, I'm 17, I love your show, and you're like, wow, look at the kind of impact it has. So we're at 44,000, we have till 5 o'clock Pacific Coast time, so 6, 7 o'clock here in Texas, on Wednesday, to reach $60,000.
And they can do that at startvox.com?
Yeah, well, Kickstarter is what people go to, but you try to explain, when you go to Kickstarter, you type in my name, or you type in Vox Populi or Vox, if you go start the Vox, Vox is startthevox.com, it takes you right to that page, it makes it easy for you to contribute, and you saw me, every single person, a lot of these people couldn't afford anything, they're very, getting $5 would be hard, but I was like, I don't care, if it's worth it, this is worth it. And I made my pitch and gave them the flyer and everything. So for your listeners, I can't look at each one of you individually, but I promise you, the second you back the show, the phone in my pocket vibrates.
I can attest to that.
It's true, right?
I was on that phone and it was vibrating in my ear.
Yeah, with new backers, and so there've been a little over 500 followers, which is incredible. It's not anywhere near as much as some other people have, but 500 is enough where if any of those backers email me directly through the Kickstarter program that they back me through, I get on there and I email right back. Yeah. And so now we have a conversation, it's personal. Yeah. And I think, building an audience, that's how you build an audience. And a community, yeah. You build a community of people. It's just awesome how people end up having their own conversations and their own things in their own life. And it's just
very, very exciting. Well, I'm really excited to see what happens. Eager to be talking to you again tomorrow on the Twitter party.
Twitter party.
Is it Sean Astin? Is the hashtag?
Mine is, I don't know what the hashtag is. Sean Astin is my.
Is your Twitter page?
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to take a minute to find it. You just put it,
when I find it,
a little icon or something like that. So how many people are watching this?
Well, it's going to be publicized on YouTube. My fans, entertainment and media group, Erica's group, is going to be on there. They're going to publicize it. There'll be blog posts about it. I'll probably get in touch with some of your fan sites and publicize it there too. Oh, you're going to give me yours? Are you sure? Are you sure?
Feels like
Thank you. Thank you so much for sitting down with me.
Yeah.
And up again.
Refresh.
Startthevox.com, yeah.
Refresh. Right now, it was at 44,399.
We are 512 backers, 44,000, yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, so 44,399, 512 backers.
3 days
We
to
have,
go.
we'll do the math for me, so let's just pretend it's 45,000, so let's say we get that extra 600, it's 45,000, that's 15,000. It's $15,601
Mhm.
is what we need. So $25 contributions,
Yep, we've got a few,
yeah,
a few different.
we've got all the
goals in
different rewards, but
Yeah,
it's actually, it's kind of a tall order. It's actually kind of a tall order, I'm stressed out, unless I can get, some of them are really expensive.
there. Mhm.
You know, like I'll fly out and do an appearance for a $10,000 backer.
Yeah.
So that, I guess you only need 1.5 of those in your set.
Yeah, I know.
But we haven't had any of those figures yet. I've had a couple of $2,000 guys and one $2,100 guy. But anyhow, so help!
Start the box.
Startthebox.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. Well, tell your husband thank you
I
for
will.
letting me borrow you. That's what my wife always says to people.
Oh.
Yeah,
Sorry, my husband.
something like that. Yeah.